Have you ever pondered why natural disasters occur? Our planet Earth is a vibrant, dynamic entity. It's alive, constantly shifting, and evolving. This constant change, while essential for our existence, also sets the stage for the inevitable occurrence of natural disasters. These disasters come in many forms. There are earthquakes, those sudden shakes and rumbles under our feet caused by the shifting of the Earth's tectonic plates. These massive slabs of rock grind against each other, building up pressure until it's released in a violent shake. Then we have hurricanes, those swirling storms with winds so powerful they can flatten cities. These meteorological juggernauts are born out of the warm, moist air over tropical oceans, spiraling upwards and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Floods, on the other hand, are often the result of excessive rainfall that our rivers and streams simply can't handle. The water spills over, inundating our lands, washing away anything in its path. And let's not forget wildfires, nature's way of cleansing and renewing, but also an agent of devastation. These fires, often sparked by lightning or human activity, consume vast tracts of vegetation, transforming lush green forests into charred landscapes. These natural disasters are not random acts of a capricious planet. They are the result of natural processes and phenomena, like the movement of tectonic plates, changes in climate, and even the cycle of water from the oceans to the atmosphere and back again. These processes and phenomena have been happening for billions of years, long before humans walked the Earth. They are integral parts of our planet's life cycle, shaping our landscapes, influencing our climates, and yes, causing natural disasters. So while we may view these disasters as catastrophic events, they are in fact natural outcomes of the Earth's dynamic nature. They are a testament to the planet's vitality and constant evolution. Natural disasters are a part of life on Earth, unavoidable yet fascinating. What if we could anticipate a disaster before it strikes? Just imagine the number of lives that could be saved, the amount of property that could be preserved. It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? Often, natural disasters are not sudden, unforeseen events. They build up, sometimes over days, sometimes over years. Think of an earthquake. It doesn't just happen. There are signs, precursors, seismic activity, ground deformation. These are the whispers of the Earth, telling us that something is coming. Scientists, the detectives of the natural world, are always on the hunt for these signs. They use sophisticated technology, sensors placed deep within the Earth, satellites orbiting thousands of miles above us, to track these subtle changes. They analyze data, not just from the present, but from the past as well, looking for patterns, for clues. Let's take an earthquake as an example. Before an earthquake, the ground beneath us is not still. It's shifting, moving. These movements are often too small for us to feel, but they are there nonetheless. Scientists use seismographs to detect these movements. They look for patterns in seismic activity, for increases in the frequency and intensity of these movements. Ground deformation is another sign. The Earth's crust is not a solid, unchanging surface. It's made up of tectonic plates that are constantly moving, colliding, sliding past each other. When these movements become too great, the ground deforms, creating bulges, cracks, changes in the landscape that can be detected by satellites. These signs, these precursors, they don't tell us exactly when or where a disaster will strike. They can't give us that level of precision, but they do give us a warning, a chance to prepare, to take precautions. Predicting natural disasters is not an exact science, but advancements in technology are making it increasingly possible. We may not be able to stop these disasters, but with every bit of knowledge we gain, with every new piece of technology we develop, we move one step closer to understanding them, to anticipating them, and ultimately to protecting ourselves from their devastating effects. Imagine this. The ground shakes beneath your feet, buildings crumble, and chaos ensues. Such is the chilling spectacle of an earthquake, one of nature's most terrifying displays of power. Unpredictable and unyielding, it strikes with little to no warning, turning our world upside down in a matter of seconds. Imagine it's a typical day. The sun is shining, and people are going about their daily routines. Suddenly, the earth begins to tremble. It starts as a mild tremor, barely perceptible, but then it intensifies. The shaking grows stronger, more violent. Buildings that once stood proud and tall are now swaying like trees in a storm. The concrete giants groan under the stress, their structures pushed beyond their limits. Walls crack, windows shatter, and entire buildings crumble to the ground. Dust clouds billow up, choking the air and obscuring the sun. The city, once a bustling metropolis, is now a battlefield, scarred by the violent convulsions of the earth. Then there's the human cost. The loss of life is devastating as people are caught off guard by the sudden upheaval. Panic spreads like wildfire. The streets become rivers of chaos, filled with the terrified cries of men, women, and children. They scramble for safety, their minds filled with fear and confusion. Infrastructure crumbles. Power lines snap, plunging the city into darkness. Water mains burst, flooding the streets. Communication networks fail, cutting off the outside world. Emergency services are overwhelmed, struggling to reach those in need amidst the rubble and destruction. And in the midst of this chaos, time seems to stand still. The once familiar cityscape is now unrecognizable, transformed by the raw, destructive power of the earthquake. In the eye of the storm, the fragility of our man-made world is laid bare. Our towering skyscrapers, our bustling streets, our busy lives, all seem insignificant when faced with the might of Mother Nature. In the midst of the disaster, survival becomes the only priority. When the dust settles, what's left in the wake of a natural disaster? In the aftermath of an earthquake, the world seems to hold its breath. Silence falls, punctured only by the distant echoes of sirens and the soft murmur of voices. The ground, once so solid and trustworthy, has betrayed us. Buildings that used to touch the sky are now crumbling ruins, a mere shadow of their former glory. Rescue efforts begin almost immediately. Brave men and women, both professional rescuers and ordinary citizens, band together in a desperate race against time. They climb over rubble, dig through debris, and crawl into unstable structures, all in the hopes of finding survivors. It's a heartbreaking task, filled with both despair and hope. Once the immediate danger has passed, the long road to recovery begins. Entire communities must be rebuilt from the ground up. This isn't just about constructing new buildings. It's about rebuilding lives. People who have lost their homes have to start all over again. They might have to find new jobs, new schools for their children, and even new cities to call home. The economic impact of an earthquake can be devastating. The cost of rebuilding, coupled with the loss of businesses and jobs, can plunge a region into financial hardship. And yet, amidst the destruction and despair, something incredible happens. The human spirit prevails. People start to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. Neighbors help neighbors. Strangers become friends. Communities come together in ways they never have before. They share resources, provide emotional support, and work hand in hand to rebuild their homes and their lives. Dealing with trauma, both physical and emotional, is a crucial part of the recovery process. It's important to remember that it's okay to grieve, to feel lost, and to be scared. Healing takes time, but with the support of their community and the resilience of the human spirit, people find a way to move forward. Recovery from a natural disaster is a long and challenging process, but it also brings communities together in incredible ways. So, what can we learn from these devastating events? Natural disasters, as we've seen, are a force to be reckoned with. They serve as humbling reminders of the power of the natural world, but they also underscore our own capacity for resilience and adaptation. One of the most significant lessons we take away from these events is the importance of preparedness. It might seem like a small thing, but being ready for a natural disaster can make a world of difference. Having an emergency kit stocked with essential items, knowing the safest place in your home during a disaster, or even being aware of evacuation routes in your area can help ensure your safety and the safety of those around you. But preparedness isn't just an individual responsibility. It's a community effort. From city planners designing resilient infrastructure to first responders preparing for disaster response, everyone has a role to play. We need to invest in our communities, making sure that our buildings, bridges, and roads can withstand the forces of nature. We need to develop and continually refine disaster response plans, learning from past events to improve future outcomes. And let's not forget about the importance of education. Understanding the science behind these natural phenomena can help us predict when and where they might occur, giving us precious time to prepare. It's crucial that we continue to support scientific research in this field, as it's our best defense against the unpredictable. And finally, we need to acknowledge the emotional toll of these events. Recovery is not just about rebuilding physical structures, but also about healing and supporting one another. It's about community resilience, about coming together in the face of adversity, and about drawing strength from our shared experiences. While we cannot prevent natural disasters, we can equip ourselves with the knowledge and tools to minimize their impact. In the end, it's about being prepared, being resilient, and most importantly, being there for each other.